Good morning. It's January 10th, 2020, and it is by far the coldest day of the year. We discussed cold before. We'll talk more about it in this episode of Sean in Alaska. And I was going to do some other stuff, but this is pretty interesting, so I thought maybe I'd go ahead and share some of this stuff with you guys as well. So we're talking about bitter cold. Today's probably, like I said, the coldest day of the year so far. On the drive into town, my buddy Will said he recorded 30 degrees below zero. It's not just that, we're close to the water, so the humidity's on the higher side too, and it's just bone chilling. Can't keep warm, bitter cold. Let me spin the camera around here so you can see it. It's a beautiful day. I mean, it is gorgeous out. Just absolutely gorgeous out. Clear blue skies. We're gonna head to town. First off, as I warm up the truck, I just want to point this out to you. You see right behind the green tree there, that's a spruce. Right behind that, the white on the trees, that's not snow. Those are ice crystals that have formed with the temperature being as cold as it is. And they just keep getting bigger and bigger. And basically it looks like the trees that all lost their leaves have got their leaves back again. Yeah, I'm burning time. I'm waiting for the truck to warm up just a little bit more and hopefully get my toes warm before we hit the road. Okay, the tide's out. I expected to see some, or a great deal more ice on the beach than we have right now. But I picked up a brand new pair of boots. We're going to put the boots on and go for a little bit of hike here on the beach. And maybe the tide will come in and bring some ice in with it. So let's discuss the cold here in Alaska. This has been a brutal week and a half worth of just ridiculously cold weather for this part of Alaska. Now, generally speaking, parts of Alaska, the interior, for example, get a great deal colder than we are right here. But here, where we're basically considered the banana belt of the state of Alaska, for us to have protracted days of sub-zero weather without a break, and especially at the levels that we have right now, are pretty. It's pretty rare. I mean, basically, we had like the coldest day of the year in the last 5 years on Sunday, and it just really hasn't warmed up that much since then. So, like I said, the temperature this morning when I left the house was the lowest temperature when I was driving in was 26 below zero, and I'm not really taking pictures of the temperature until I get to the point where it's colder than that. So if it gets colder than 26 below zero, I'll take another picture of that. But you don't need to see the same minus temperatures all the time. And it has been every day at least 15 to 20 degrees below zero every single day. And yesterday we got really warm, and I think we were at like zero, and it was, oh my God, this is great. If that gives you any idea of what you can get used to. So I thought it'd be good to talk about a couple of things in this video. We're talking about the cold and how it can be very, very dangerous, and how it could be very, very uncomfortable. So I bought a pair of boots, I think my first winter when I was back up here in 2013. I bought a pair of boots by a company by the name of Kamek. And they worked okay, generally speaking, but I went to put them on this year and my feet would not get warm at all. So I just went out and spent way too much money on a pair of really good boots. And the ones that I bought were Canadian. They're called Baffins, and they're rated for minus 94. Now, why would you need to have minus 94 degrees Fahrenheit for your footwear? You don't. You really probably don't need to have boots that cold, but I don't want to be cold. I want my feet to be warm. If your feet start getting cold, your body starts getting colder. At least for me, that's what I've noticed, is I get quite a bit colder. So I want that main part of my body to stay as warm as possible. I have a hat that I can pull over for my head. I've got multiple pullovers that, full face covers and everything else that I can wear. I have multiple jackets and everything else, but I need a good pair of boots. Now that being said, I spent $200 on a pair of boots today, 200 American dollars. And everybody's all, that's crazy. The last time I did something like this was, oh my God, in the 80s, in the 1980s. I owned that pair of boots for 25 years. So I'll probably own this, probably be the last pair of boots I have to buy. So every year, the price, next year, the price will cost me $100. The year after that, the price will continue to drop. Within 4 years, the price will be down to $50 as well. So spend a little bit of money if you can afford to do so and get good quality footwear. You're going to need that up here. Gloves are another thing that you want to have. I have these Thinsilates. These are my everyday wearing gloves, and they kind of got some special, purpose behind them. They belonged to my father before he passed away. So when I went through all of the stuff that he had and I found his gloves, I go, I gotta have Dad's gloves. I also have Dad's hat. That keeps me extra warm too. When it comes to socks, look for socks with merino wool in them. If wool makes you itchy, if you really itch a lot with wool, look for merino wool. It's a finer wool. It won't, from what everybody says, it won't make you itch. I really don't. I'll wear wool all the time and it doesn't make me itch no matter what anyway. Stay warm, stay hydrated, very, very important. And we'll speak about hydration too. And stay prepared. If you've got a vehicle, I'll give you another example. The other day, I did not plug my vehicle in on my day off. And I'd been having some issues with, it's a newer truck. So, I kept getting some conversation from the truck. So it would pop up with a flashing light that said low battery warning. And I'd taken it in a couple of times to the, unmentioned dealership that I've had enough issues with. And they said, oh, no, your battery's fine. Everything's good. Well, I didn't plug my truck in the other day. And it sat overnight at 20 degrees below zero, which should not be a big issue. But when I went to start it, it wouldn't start. 4 hours on a block heater plugged in, it still wouldn't start. 2 hours later, with the battery charger connected to it, I finally got it started. So if I had to be anywhere that day, I was in trouble. So maintenance on your vehicle is huge. Put a brand new battery in the vehicle. Did not plug my truck in last night. Plugged it in this morning for about an hour just to warm it up, just to get the block so it wasn't ice cold. And then turned around and pushed the remote start button. Truck fired right up. When they took the old battery out, it was an original equipment battery. This is a 2013 truck. So it's 2020. The battery was 7 years old. If you're going to live in a climate or a condition like this area up here, that's something you might want to look at. You might want to look at any possible upgrades or maintenance that needs to be done on your vehicle before you get to winter, because winter is unforgiving up here. And the longer it stays cold, the more things go wrong. I'll take some pictures and I'll show them to you here towards the end of the video, and we'll stream some music with it of what the inside of my fifth wheel trailer looks like. So for those that don't know, I moved up here in a mobile home in 2013, motorhome in 2013, an old 26 footer that I got from Pops, from my dad. And he said, if you can get the stupid thing running, you can have it. I fixed it up, worked on it, and drove it up here. When I got here, I lived in that for the first year and a half, 2 years, some of the coldest times of my life. And I decided I was going to upgrade because I wanted something with a bedroom. I've been sleeping on on basically a futon that I didn't fold out. I couldn't fold it out or it would break for the first 2 winters. So I bought a fifth wheel trailer off of Facebook, and it was a great deal. Paid $1,500 for it. Had it hauled over to the place where I'm staying, moved my motorhome over to another place to store it there, and have been living in that ever since. Well, I use propane for heat, and one of the byproducts of propane when you're heating is moisture. It's water. And all the insides of my windows there's ice on it, like, I don't know, 1/4 inch thick. It's ridiculous. And I'll take some pictures and show you. It'll blow your mind. Anything leaning against the wall, if you pull it back, you'll look and there'll be ice back behind there. if I throw a laundry basket against the wall, when I pull the laundry basket out, behind there is ice, and all the clothes on that side have ice on them. It's hard to explain. It's a lot more treacherous than you would believe. I don't know if treacherous is the right word, but it's a lot more harder lifestyle than most people would believe. So, speaking of hydration, the fifth wheel trailer is obviously not insulated and not set up for this kind of weather. And the first year with the motorhome, I'd wrapped hay bales all the way around it to try and use it as a skirt, realizing afterwards that that was the wrong thing to do because I just trapped the cold air underneath the trailer and it was constantly cold. So I have a linoleum floor in the kitchen of the fifth wheel trailer. Bitter. Don't even want to walk on it. Don't even want to step on it. I mean, I'll throw blankets on that floor because it's so cold. The carpeted section, not as bad. But the thing that I noticed about, speaking of hydration, my temperature gauge shows humidity inside the trailer. So the temperature this morning, for example, was 22 below zero outside. My internal temperature in the trailer was roughly 72 degrees. That's what it said. That's 72 at the ceiling, because down at the floor, it's more like 30. And the humidity, the internal humidity, was 4%. That's crazy. That's ridiculous, 4% humidity. I mean, way too low. So it's even more cold because for whatever reason, the more moisture, more humidity I have in my air, the warmer the trailer feels. And I think that's because the moisture carries the warmth as well. So I put a pot to boil on top of the stove today and got the humidity up to about 20 degrees. And man, it felt really nice in there. And on top of that, the temperature jumped up to 74 degrees inside the trailer. The air is very, very cold and very, very dry. Hence the term, it's too cold to snow. You get to a certain point where the temperature just gets so cold, the air won't hold any moisture. Probably enough talking for me on that right now. How about I'll take a couple of pictures while I'm here, and then we'll take a trip over to the Kenai River, and we'll hike down to there, and I'll get some pictures of ice on the river, because everybody sees the Kenai River when it's beautiful and blue and running and everybody's fishing on it. And very few people see the river when it's all covered in ice and slow and steam coming off the top of it. It's pretty cool. I'm going to make this a shorter video. And yes, this time I will make it a shorter video. Just maybe 15 minutes probably at the most when it's done. And the future goal here will be to get everybody, or to get future videos right around this length of, say, 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes as I get into some of the longer, more detailed stuff. And then get my videos uploaded and posted and available for viewing every Monday at, I'm thinking noon, probably noon, 12 noon on Monday, Alaska Standard Time. And we'll try and make that a regular thing. So hopefully you want to start your week out with us, or with me. Let me zip this camera around here while I've got it. I've got it on my little tripod. That mountain right there is Redoubt. I don't know if you can really see it that well, but this is the view that I'm looking at outside the truck. It's just gorgeous. And this beach, if you've watched my intro pictures and you see the one picture where I'm standing there with a fish in my hand and everybody's behind me fishing in the surf, that's this beach. So as the sockeye salmon come in, they kind of come in close to this beach as they make their way into the river. The mouth of the river is right over that way past the sun, just to the left of the sun. And they come in and basically you just stick a net right in the water and they swim right into your net. That's it. I'm going to go take some pictures of, maybe do a little bit of video of the Kenai River for you and let you see what that looks like. I think it's pretty cool. All right, we're on the river walk in Soldotna, Alaska. And this is the Kenai River. Well, hello, puppy. How are you?
Happy to see anybody.
The happy dog. Have a great day, man. Oh. Go on.
Come here.
Look at this. That's not snow, that's frost. It builds up on the outside of the plants. Just gorgeous. So there is some open water out there still. Not a lot. And the reason why all this ice is backing up and breaking up like that is because there's an ice jam down the river, so it's flooding out everything down below. But this is a great spot during the sockeye run for red salmon fishing. And I was going to be out here for a lot longer than this, but my face is freezing. My hand is cold. So we're going to head back in. That's the bridge I cross over every day to go to work. Cross over again to come home. There you have it, the frozen Kenai River. Man, that was chilly. So that's the Kenai River. We'll do a little bit more in depth on a future video of the river when I'm better dressed for it. I should have had a mask and everything else, but it was just gorgeous, just beautiful. And those chunks of ice, I imagine if you sit down at the river long enough, what you'll see is, or what you'll hear is a bunch of popping and cracking as the ice kind of pops and explodes as it's jamming up there in the river. But there's a little bit of Alaska for you right there. We're gonna stopped up at the grocery store, picked up some groceries, picked up a few things for the house. I'm gonna head back home now and then put this thing together. And we'll talk to you one more time before I put it all together. Once I get home, maybe we'll stop off by the property again.